Okay. Yeah, right there.
Okay. All right.
Anyways.
We'll do it live.
All right.
All right.
Ready?
Yes.
Welcome to episode 122. This episode 2C we talk about. No, I'll do it again. I don't know why I hesitated. Welcome to episode 122. This episode 2C we talk about Disney makes money moves, Gamer rages online, and Anton catches them all. I'm Al Flores.
Now Manton Duan.
Anton, how has your 2 weeks been?
It's been I don't know. Ever since you told me that you played this video game on the Switch called
Uh,
Pokemon Sword,
yes.
yeah, I kind of got into it, but I got the other version, which is Shield. Yeah, so I've
Yeah,
been stuck on that.
you bought it within 24 hours of me telling you I've been playing.
Yeah, no, you know what's funny? I did buy it within 24 hours, but I didn't touch it for a couple of days because I didn't really have time for it. But when I did have time for it, oh my god, I just rammed through the whole entire video game. I finished
it
everything that was supposed to be done except for catching all the Pokemons.
it's so easy to run through it, huh?
Yeah, it seems like
Um,
it seems like probably halfway through the game, when you think you're at your halfway point, you are at the halfway point. But however, everything starts speeding up because it seems like they kind of half-assed everything towards the end. Because you get
I,
like 3 or 4 of the gym badges within like a span of walking so
oh,
far.
yeah, they're like
Mm-hmm.
almost back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had that moment because I was playing it earlier just to finish the story.
Yeah.
I pretty much knocked out the semifinals, the tower, and the tournament. But I was about to face the champion, but my battery ran low, so I had to save it and stop there. But
Oh.
I did that all within an hour. It was
Mm-hmm.
like all like back to back to back. It was really just nonstop battling. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And especially if you have a
Uh,
high level Pokemon, you can just go straight through it.
Even then, I feel like the other versions you had to have your Pokemon at level 70, 60 to face the final four or whatever
Yeah, the Elite Four or what?
the elite four.
Yeah.
Um, but in this one, it's like what 50, 60?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, what'd you think of the game?
I like it. I do like the fact that it's more open roaming, and you're
Mm.
able to see what Pokemon you want to catch, and you can go
Yeah,
run towards them. And yeah, I really like that feature. However, there is something that I felt that is kind of lacking. Is you do see some of the characters when you log into the online mode, you can see them
hmm
walking around, but you can only interact them through a menu.
yeah. The
Yeah.
Ycom.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. It's very confusing. It's like it gives you notifications, but the notifications really tell you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to filter to just like I think they're called max raids,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, some of them are not. They're just notifications. They're not invitations to join the max raid. So I think that's something that needs to be fine tuned.
Yeah.
We had some fun trying to understand how to do the link trade,
Yeah.
which after we figured it out, it seems very straightforward, but we were
Mm-hmm.
overthinking
Yeah. We
it.
were. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing about this game is there's a lot of features in there that a lot of people would appreciate once they learn how it works. Like
hmm
one of the things that the like you told me, one of the tips that you gave me was towards starting the game was to get into Pokejobs, which
Yes.
is you send Pokemons on like a work day, and
It's slave labor. Just say it.
yeah,
It just
that's
you're literally
basically what it is, dude. Because I mean,
yeah.
you're well, in a way, you're not really getting paid anything, but your Pokemon does level up, so that's your Pokemon gains experience, and sometimes you get a prize out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that came in handy. It's good so you kind of you don't have to rotate through your Pokemon as much.
Hmm.
And then when you do need certain types of Pokemon, they're leveled up already. So you really just have
Hmm.
to train and evolve them at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, since you and I coordinated, it's been kind of fun playing with the breeding feature.
Yeah.
Um, and that's like kind of been breeding the.
Yeah, I think the whole breeding thing is really cool. But for people who
It's
hasn't,
so complicated.
yeah, it's very complicated, and especially like because they have these rare shiny Pokemons, which is like a
Hmm.
perfect Pokemon that has like the perfect IV, which means the highest specs of a Pokemon,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's so perfect that that you can't really catch them by going through the game. You have to. Well, sometimes you can, but it's super
If you're
rare.
lucky.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
be really lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the because I was I kind of went down a YouTube rabbit hole trying to find out the whole breeding thing, like what
Hmm.
exactly we need to do.
Hmm.
And there is this whole breeding mechanic behind like people trying to show you how to breed competitive Pokemon.
Hmm.
So you not just you're finding the perfect IV Pokemon, but you're finding ways to try to hatch the perfect IV Pokemon. And there's sometimes like, oh, if you get two Pokemon, if one's holding one item and one's holding this other item, it'll transfer over the attack stats or like the normal stats for one, and then the special stats for the other one. So combined, you have a good chance of getting a perfect overall strong Pokemon.
That's pretty interesting. Wow.
It's intense, dude. I'll try to find the video again and send it to you, but it's like, wow, I'm probably not gonna touch that for another couple weeks until
Yeah.
I feel like I need something a challenge to do.
Yeah, I think you need to finish the story mode first just to get that out of the way before you start doing all of the Pokemon breeding. Because
Hmm.
I think that's what I mainly focused on was just to get the story out of the way so then I can just focus on what I need to do now, which is catching all the Pokemons,
Hmm.
collecting them, and
Yeah.
breeding them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You definitely need to play with the link trade feature.
Hmm.
That one is interesting. You see some really rare type Pokemon that you can tell like, oh, this is they're not just trading basic Pokemon to complete a Pokédex. They're trading like the shinies. They're trading the versions of Pokemon from other games that aren't in Sword and Shield.
Hmm.
I think the example I gave you was I got a Bulbasaur, and the Bulbasaur's not even in the Pokédex here.
Yeah, so in the last episode, we were talking about Pokemon Home. So, in
Hmm.
order to get those Pokemons from those other games, you can go as far back as Sun and Moon, which is on, I think, DS.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, the thing about that is it's a long process if you were to trade
Hmm.
it because you have to update the game on the DS and then connect to Pokemon Home and then transfer it over. But I mean that. With that being said, it makes it easier, so you can keep all of your Pokemon. But it's kind of stupid. Okay, let me explain how this works. Okay, so each video game that you play in the past will have their own library of Pokemon that you caught, and
Hmm.
you basically transfer it wherever you want. It'll keep the same specs, the same move sets, everything's the
Yeah.
same. But on certain games, those moves will not transfer over.
Yeah.
Um,
They're
yeah,
not grandfathered in.
yeah, they're not grandfathered in. But even though you can see that it has certain moves, but you can't use them.
Hmm.
And when you
Yeah.
do try to um, like teach it new moves, you have to get rid
Hmm.
of the old moves.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nah.
And let's say in the past you have like some really good IV Pokemons.
Hmm.
Sometimes the attack powers don't transfer over because they think it's too overpowering in the new game. Yeah.
They're trying to keep the game balance.
Yeah, but the cool thing is
Um,
if you transfer it back into the original game, it'll have the
mhm.
same stats as it was before. It's just the new
Okay.
one. It doesn't do that.
Yeah, just the way it has to translate it.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, Anton. Well, I mean, I still need to finish the story. You're still trying to finish your Pokédex and maybe do some more shiny and high IV
Yeah.
hunting before the baby comes.
Hmm.
Which I was updating our podcast board, the board I used to track topics release dates, recording dates. Nice. That's the mug I sent you.
Yep.
This is Yoda Best Dad.
Yeah.
What's it again?
Yeah. It says Yoda best dad ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was looking at the dates, and really, episode 126 might be either the last episode before the baby's born or the second to last episode before the baby's born.
Who knows? I'm just
Because that
hoping.
record.
I'm just hoping the baby comes during that time, not any earlier.
Well, because the recording date for that one for 126 is scheduled for April 23rd.
Yeah.
Which the next one wouldn't be until May 5th, May 7th.
So we'll probably take
So
a month break.
Maybe. I mean, depends on. I mean, really, family first, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. I mean, we'll know closer to that date. We have social media. Follow us at the 2OC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for updates.
Yeah.
In case we go.
So my cousin, him and his wife, they were supposed to expect a baby next month. But the baby came today.
Oh, so it's a preemie.
Yeah. No,
is it
probably 2 weeks. I mean, he still looks like a very healthy baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ate a lot. Like, the stuff that they were eating, it was constant. But the baby came out pretty healthy, so.
That's good. No, that's good, then. So you meant next month. You meant like early. It was supposed to come. The due date was like early March.
Yeah, I think it was early March. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So speaking of things coming early, that makes sense. Lent. Well, Ash Wednesday was yesterday, which is the kickoff for Lent.
Where's your ash? I don't see any ash.
I had ash on my face last night.
Okay.
After church. And I'm kind of happy I go after church because it feels kind of awkward walking around during the day. Even though I see people with the ash on their face during the day, it's still, I don't know. Anyways, so I mean, again, this year I'm pretty much gonna go. What's it called? Pescatarian, which like no meat other than fish, and no fast food and no soda.
Sushi the whole entire month.
Pretty much. Pokeballs.
Pokeballs, nice.
Yeah.
Eat some Pokeballs, play some Pokemon. Yeah, it'll work out.
A lot of Pokey.
Yeah.
Pokey sticks. Nice.
Yeah. You gotta do some hokey pokey.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. All right. The other thing too that we talked about last episode, but now I actually got to do it, was the cooking class. So I took a pasta making class with my girlfriend. It was my Valentine's Day gift / date for with me and her, and it was nice, dude. It was at the, what's it called? It's one of those hotels on Harbor by Disney. It's like right across from a Target.
Is it DoubleTree?
It's one of DoubleTree. It's by Joe's Italian Ice.
Oh yeah, I okay, yeah.
Yeah. Joe's Crab Shack. It's like that corner right there.
Yeah, there's a Outback Steakhouse and stuff there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. There's like three. Yeah, there's like 3 hotels there. So it was in one of those. It was in the this restaurant inside the hotel called Basil. The Basil. And it was our chef was named Encino Alagia. Really nice chef, dude. He was very fun. You can tell the passion he has for cooking. He was serious about the cooking, the everything about it, but he was also very casual about it and very approachable with the food. Like he would, like if he saw somebody doing something wrong, he would obviously correct them, but he'd make it fun. He didn't try to make you feel awkward or stupid or like that. And at the same time, he kind of went like,
I can see like a Gordon Ramsay moment, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
That would be me as a chef.
Yeah.
No, but like, dude, like he was a great teacher. He was very much like, hey man, there's a bar in the restaurant. I don't mind if you guys go get some drinks. You can't have fun cooking without drinks. Go ahead. And then,
wow.
yeah, so he was a cool guy. So like, of course, my girlfriend had her wine. I was drinking my my beer, my mango cart.
Okay. Oh man, Mango cart sounds really good right now.
It was so good, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It did add to the class though, because it kind of loosened everybody up and everybody was more social.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was really cool.
You know,
The
I'm gonna go
recipe,
get some mango cart probably tomorrow. I don't.
yeah.
See. I drank it in California. I haven't drank it
Uh-huh.
here, so I don't even know
It's
they have it here.
Yeah, I would say it's an LA brewery, so I don't know if they
Mm-hmm.
would have it there. Maybe.
No,
You know,
no,
distrib
it was a Bud Light flavor. Um,
Okay, okay. There's a Bud Light version. So the
flavor.
recipe so the
Really?
recipe he taught us was actual recipe that his grandma taught him.
Uh-huh.
And he also gave us the recipe for the pasta and the sauce that we made. So I can't wait to try this again. It was awesome. I will say it is very exhausting.
Yeah.
Uh, just working that dough until like the gluten is like kind of cross laid um rested. Dude, it's a good arm workout.
Yeah.
Um,
So
my
what
girlfriend
type
said,
of pasta is this again?
it's just normal pasta. So it's traditional pasta. The
Are you
flour.
guys doing like linguine, spaghetti? What type of noodle style?
I forgot what it's called. It's the I mean, it's flat and wide. I forgot what it's called.
Something ini?
Probably something eeny. Hold on, let me check
Something
it
ini? Fettuccine? Linguine?
out. Let's see here. It is. Well, it's just
Tor-
pasta dough,
tortellini?
perhaps.
No, it's
Yeah, I
not
can't think of
tortellini.
it.
Mm-hmm.
No, but yeah, I mean, I posted the pictures on my social media, so you can look at it later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fun. So I recommend the place that is called Koku Social, COCU Social. They mainly have bookings in Los Angeles, but every now and then they have it like in the Orange County, Riverside area.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, LA tends to have more options like um, sushi.
I
Uh,
didn't get that. Could you try again?
no, Siri, I will not.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny how like
macarons.
Siri jumps in once in a while. I get
Yeah,
that a lot. Like I'm talking
yeah,
to my wife Julie. I would just talk to her, just having a regular conversation, and then Siri just comes in, and breaks the whole mood.
yeah. Ruins it.
Yeah.
Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with that chick Alexa.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. That's it for my week updates. How about you?
Oh,
Anything else?
that was in the Anaheim Marriott Suites,
Marriott Suites,
and you said
yes.
the name of the restaurant is Basil's Restaurant and Bar, and I guess that company just rented out the restaurant.
Yeah. All the locations that they have listed on the website are going to be restaurants, and that's
Mm-hmm.
mainly for hygiene reasons and also access to cooking areas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, and Mango Cart is, you're right. It's by Golden Road, and
yep, there we go.
yeah. So the first time I had Mango Cart was at the OC fair, and dude, I had probably 316. No, I think when you're at the OC fair, the cups are huge, right? They're about like that tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I had
Actually,
about
well,
three of
you
those.
pay for it. I would
Hmm.
say that you pay for it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, another one too. I think it's also Golden Road, but what's it called? Melon Cart. That one's awesome too. Uh,
Ooh, they have it in stock here.
nice.
Nice.
The one I don't recommend is the pineapple one.
No good.
It is not good. Like I don't get any hint of the pineapple sweetness or the flavor. It's just kind of acidic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not my thing. But yeah, mango cart and the melon cart. Those are bomb.
Hmm.
All right, Anton, you ready for some news?
Yeah, sure. Let me add a couple of these to the cart. Okay, let's get into news.
All right. Starting off big, Disney has randomly and no, not randomly, but quite suddenly replaced their CEO Bob Iger with
Bob
what's his name?
Chapek.
Chapek. There you go.
Hmm.
He was the chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences and Products. This was a sudden move. It was just really got notification. There's no warning other than Disney replaced the CEO effective immediately. Bob Iger is still with the company. He's serving as the executive chairman
Hmm.
for pretty much the remainder of his contract.
Yeah, so he's doing all of the creative stuff, which is what he
Hmm.
always wanted to do. I have a feeling that he's not going to leave the company and continue as more the creative side.
Hmm.
Um, I think that he probably wants to get into producing and doing movies that he likes to do because it seems like he's very happy with that. And he's very involved in uh, the process of, acquiring all these properties and being able to have a little bit of insight. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why he made all of these acquisitions is when
Hmm.
he retires, he's having fun doing his retirement.
I
If
mean,
you know
I
what I
think
mean.
he's out of the long. I mean, was like almost 100 years, just over 100 years, no, under 100 years. The Disney company's been around.
Hmm.
Uh, Bob Iger is only the seventh CEO for the whole company.
Yeah.
And I mean, during his term, he had the acquisition of Pixar in 2006,
Hmm.
Lucasfilms in 2012, 21st Century Fox in 2019, and I missed Marvel in 2009.
Hmm.
Big purchases. I think a lot of people were kind of oversimplifying his success, saying, "Oh, well, his strategy was just buy everything." I'm like, no, it's also what you do with the properties.
Yeah.
uh I mean, Marvel, as big of a name as it is now and as it was back in the day, Iron Man was pretty much its biggest success in a while that got a lot of money.
Hmm.
And success or not, the company was struggling. That's why they started selling off characters to Sony and Fox,
Yeah. And the
or the
thing is,
rights.
yeah, that's true. And the thing with Disney is, their creative team are getting a lot older, and the only
Mhm.
fresh ideas and the only library of characters that they can probably purchase that is going to make really good money is Marvel. I mean,
Yeah,
DC is probably not going to um, be as, you know, uh, successful because
yeah,
Marvel already built a foundation with the starter movies. And I
yeah.
think that
I mean,
acquisition was just, bar is none.
really, what you see in all these though is like, I mean, Pixar, you see the technology, but you also see the creative stories behind it,
Hmm.
the outside the box thinking. Lucasfilms is probably one of those things that like Disney saw the potential in that universe. And aside from the novels, Star Wars didn't really have big success after uh, Return of the Jedi.
Hmm.
The prequels kind of it flopped and it scared a lot of people off from Star Wars, at least a certain generation.
Yeah.
The animated
Truthfully,
stuff.
truthfully, I think the prequels, a lot of people hated it, but they also love it at the same time. It's weird.
The th- the prequels set up a universe and
Hmm.
create a history.
Hmm.
Beyond that, they are boring as hell.
Yeah. Yes.
When I was trudging through the trilogies back in November and December with my girlfriend, those are the ones that made me nervous.
Hmm.
And even she pointed out that she doesn't get why Padme liked Anakin. Like there is no chemistry.
Hmm.
The way like she enjoyed uh, Han and Leia's, on and off
Yeah.
romance.
I think I'm glad I watched the Clone Wars because the chemistry
Yes.
works so much better in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 21st Century Fox, we're really still seeing the beginnings of that. That's still, I mean, it's still a process. We still haven't seen the full impact to Hulu. We're still waiting for the Fox Marvel characters to be integrated into this phase of Marvel.
Hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. But I'm not really concerned. The Disney is such a big property. It's not just one person. Yeah, it's a big, you know, weight to bear as the head of a big corporation like that. But I mean, trust your people. That's what, I have it here. That's what Bob Iger says in his book. Surround yourself with people that know what they're talking about
Yeah.
and trust them.
So, Bob Chapek, I think I believe in him. We have
They
seen him. Well, I have seen him on a couple of keynotes that he did for the parks.
yeah.
He did a couple of announcements, like when he was announcing the Marvel integration with California Adventure. I thought he knew what he was talking about. I think that is probably one of the first times that he's ever done a keynote this big, and I think he handled it pretty well. But I don't know.
I mean, you gotta have some faith in him too, though, because it's
Mhm.
not like Disney made the sudden decision to put him in charge. Uh, it, Something we talked about when we first talked about the Bob Iger's book Ride of a Lifetime was that he planned to retire a long time ago, like probably
Yeah.
2015,
Mm-hmm.
and because of the Hong Kong was supposed to be his sign off, his
Shanghai.
last
Sorry,
project.
Shanghai.
Shanghai was supposed to be his last one to like finish off his career. Like that's his big note. And then the shootings happened. Not the shooting.
Yeah,
The
the
shooting happened.
shooting and then the crocodile eating the
And the
kid. Yeah.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Like, he knew, the company needed a strong leader still in place. He knew what the impact would be publicly if something like that happened, and all of a sudden the head of the company bailed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Fox merger happened, and then he's like, I can't leave the company with this big acquisition. That was billions of dollars, dude, and we talked about that deal for at least a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, so I mean, this is right now with this lull, with the success Disney has, it's a good handoff, and I'm pretty sure Bob Chapek was well aware of, hey, if and when I go, I'm handing this off to you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's pretty much wraps it up for Bob Iger. Leaving not leaving yet, but his legacy.
Yeah.
But other than that, we have another legacy that is coming into light. The project was called Project Luminous, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a project that was announced at last year's Star Wars Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally have a name for it. It is called Star Wars The High Republic. And what this is it's a launch of new stories. There's going to be a bunch of really rich characters, storyline, new places, and it's kind of a very very interesting era.
Mm-hmm.
They referenced this in a couple of series. They did it in books. They talked about it in some of the animated series and in some of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is it takes place during a time, I think like 2,000 years before, something like that, estimated.
200 years before the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Okay. So 200 years before the Phantom Menace, and during
Mm.
this time, this is like where a lot of space explorers weren't like fully immersed yet. There
Yeah.
was a lot of space stations in the galaxy, and there
This
would
is this
be
is this is Star Wars is Star Trek Enterprise.
yeah.
This is like the prequel before all these established bases, all these set planets have been
Yeah,
put in
and a lot
place.
of these planets hasn't been explored fully yet. So during this time,
Hmm.
I think a lot of these Jedi's are going out there, making peace, exactly like Star Trek.
Yeah,
So,
they're ambassadors.
mhm, but ambassadors with lightsabers.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah,
yeah,
protection, man.
so kind of
Just whip out the
excited for
lightsaber.
this. Yeah. So kind of excited for this. And the reason why I'm excited is because some of the storytellers for this series is J.J. Abrams, Becken Mayer, DK, Inside Edition, Titan Publishing, Viz
Hmm.
Media, Disney Lucasfilm, Marvel Comics is doing some stuff, Del Rey, IDW Publishing, and there's going to be a couple of more books that are going to be talking about
Yeah,
that era too. So kind of excited to see all that because we're going to get a lot of really crazy comic
I
book novels and all that good stuff.
I kind of see this as Lucasfilm kind of testing the waters of what stories do you want to see next.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, yeah, like they're bombarding everything from adult and young books or young adult books, comic books, like all this stuff. I'm like, they're really trying to see, can we get away from the Skywalker century
Mm-hmm.
and see what other stories we can tell you in the
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and are we gonna get more Baby Yodas in them? Are we gonna
That'd be dope.
learn? Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Where do they come from?
Yoda can still be in it. He's 900
Mhm.
years old, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he
That's
can still
right.
make an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or I mean, at the very least, we can maybe find out what happened to his species or where he came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, I really wish that we got more of Qui-Gon because he was a pretty cool character. Liam Neeson.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like we got gypped on that one. Qui-Gon was kind of a tough master, though. If you rewatching Phantom Menace, he was not a very social master the way Obi-Wan was to Anakin and eventually
Yeah,
Luke.
he was really strict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. What else is going on with Star Wars here?
Let's see.
Some of
So
smugglers.
yeah, so Star Wars Smugglers Run has been out for a while at the Disney park, and so it's a ride where you get to drive the Millennium Falcon.
Hmm.
So recently, only the people who worked on the ride would know about this. So this kind of like slowly start to leak out.
Hmm.
There is a Chewy mode for this ride. So,
Do I get a onesie?
I mean, they do sell onesies there.
I have the onesie for
Yeah,
for Halloween. I wore it for costume.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't think they mind if you wear that. I don't think Chewy would mind.
I
Uh,
do. It's freaking hot.
All right. So when you ride Smuggler's Run, usually, what's his name? Something Onaka. Damn it,
What?
forgot his name. Onaka. Onaka.
Chaka. Chaka.
What's his name? He's in the he's in the animated series.
Oh, Naka, you didn't.
Star Wars Onaka.
Osaka?
No, Hondo. Duh. So yeah, so Hondo Onaka is the voiceover for the ride. And
Hmm.
before the ride even starts, you need a full crew, and there's certain buttons that you have to press, and you have to
Hmm.
press it a certain way, and you won't know. Actually, yeah, once you have initiated the button presses for each person, you will get a Wookiee sound. So you get Chewbacca basically going.
Oh, thank God you did it. I was about to do it. I'm like, I would just sound like I'm breathing out.
Yeah, it took a lot of practice there.
All right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So throughout the whole entire smuggling run, all you hear is just the whole time. So it's,
I'm so happy you're actually saying it and didn't just like record it once and just played it over and over again.
yeah, so then he keeps yelling at you throughout the whole entire thing. He's probably telling you like go left, go right, go forward, shoot them.
Or
But
just swearing at you. It's
yeah.
fine.
But all
He
in
has a
Wookiee
temper.
voice.
I was like, he has a temper. He's ripped off the arms of people, so
Oh
clearly
yeah.
he has rage.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Kind of like a little Easter egg. There's a whole guide to how you can do it. A lot of people didn't really know that it was possible because there was only a couple of clips on like someone's Instagram or something. But I guess
Hmm.
now the secret's out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Anton. So some other stuff leaked online. For the Batman. We finally got to see the full costume, not in a red hue, but actually outdoors in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the stuntman for the movie wearing the suit, and a lot of people are not digging the ears.
Yeah, the ears look
Uh,
like someone
very
made like a Batman toy or something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they look more narrow than the Batman Beyond like ears,
True. Yeah.
but with yeah. I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, we'll grow on it. Looking back at the Christian Bale Batman mask, it kind of looked weird now too.
Hmm.
Um, but we also got to like see what the full costume looks like. I like it.
Hmm.
Uh, it it looks a little more homemade,
Hmm. Yeah.
but still good. And also one other detail I discovered that we didn't have last time we recorded, or last time we talked about it. We talked about the emblem on his chest,
Hmm.
and that you said it looked like a batarang. I said it looked like knives or something. I don't know what it was. But it turns out it's supposed to be the gun that killed his parents, chopped in half. Like the handle, it was chopped in half and then split to make the bat.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the middle part is the handle, and then the wings are part of the barrel.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting.
clearly, yeah. So clearly, he got the a-hole that killed his parents.
Mm.
But yeah, so you can see that the pictures and also the clip of the stuntman eating it in the rain on our social media at the 2OC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
So when I first saw, the leaked pictures, the
Yeah,
first thought that came to my head was
it's fake.
skinny Batman? Question mark.
No, you know what, too? Before I realized it was a stuntman, it looked like maybe I thought maybe it was like screen testing of Ben Affleck
Mm-hmm.
in the new suit. But then when I saw the video, I'm like, oh, that's the stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I was skeptical at first, but once I searched around and poked around a bit, I was like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I'm not a fan of behind the scene video like that, but this is zero spoiler in it. You really
Mm-hmm.
just see Batman out in the rain in a motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
which gives us a hint that it might be year one Batman, but
Mm.
we'll see. All right, Anton. Something else that happened online that set Twitter on fire. Ninja, the gamer slash competitive gamer slash streamer, pissed off a lot of people
Hey, he
when he
pissed me off
says,
too.
well, yeah, your peoples.
Yeah.
He said, if you don't get mad after losing, you have a weak mindset. Uh, and I think this might have to do with with what he does and people's reactions towards him. Um, I think it's the exact thing. Or he added, when you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. And I'm sorry, but there's a difference between raging and taking what you're doing seriously.
Yeah.
I get he might be annoyed. People saying it's why are you making this much money, or why is this your career when it's just a game? But also, don't let your rage control you. This is the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his whole fame and all these things that is happening to him has gotten to him. Like
Yeah.
he forgot who he was.
It's I don't know, dude. Also, him saying that, I'm sure will piss off a lot of religious people because I mean, even I think a lot of religions teach the whole thing about the whole controlling your rage or your
Yeah.
inner demons.
Hmm.
Um, and giving to them is a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
So complete opposite of what we said.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it's nice to see that the internet doesn't just take what certain celebrities say, at heart.
Yeah.
All right. Other bit of news here. The Midnight Society continues. So a while ago, I think it was last summer actually, we talked about the show Are You Afraid of the Dark coming back to Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
It turns out it's already out, and I think they're like on episode 2, and they just renewed it for season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean,
Interesting.
it's good. Yeah, so it's good to know that the show Are You Afraid of the Dark has been a success with this new generation.
Hmm.
I want to check it out. Apparently, the stories are creepy.
Yeah.
That they've done it justice. So I'm going to check that out. Hopefully, it's on Hulu. If not, probably the Nickelodeon website.
Mm. Okay.
All right. Next here we have the child news. So the child from the Mandalorian. A lot of the toys aren't going to be available until this summer, and then some other stuff that's more complex won't be available into fall until winter, if not early spring of 2021.
Hmm.
But for those of you that can't wait, Build-A-Bear has announced that it'll be available in their stores this spring, although they didn't give an exact date.
I did pre-order some stuff. I don't
What
even
you're
know
gonna get
what I
like what
pre-ordered. I think it was like
probably
one of the first things that they announced that was available, and then I just pre-ordered it. I can't
I
remember what
think
it was. I think it was a Funko Pop.
yeah, which you probably won't get till June. I think June or July was the estimate they gave when I looked at it.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. What else is going on in the gaming world?
Okay, so let's go with the first news here. So Xbox announced their specs, and this is kind of big news because you know Xbox and PlayStation haven't really released their official specs.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when Sony PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
released their dev kits, the specs were really ridiculous. Like it's way
Mm-hmm.
up there. And with
And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's the kits that game developers or others can use to design the game and know what environment their game would be played in, so it could run as optimal as possible.
yeah, the closest
That seems
possible
redundant.
to the actual machine that's going to be produced.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the specs hasn't been released for PlayStation, but they were able to have a lot of developers leak out the specs, and yeah, it's really ridiculous. It's way up there to where people are having a big wow factor. And then now Xbox, yeah, for people who are listening, Alan just did a mind
The
blown.
Yeah, just like the hand explosions and the
Yeah.
wow.
Okay. So let me read the specs here. Let me see right here. So Xbox announced that they are doing 12 teraflops. Um,
Mhm.
to dumb it down, it's basically how big of a world can be rendered in a single environment. So, like back in the days, let's say PS1 or
Mhm.
N64. Uh, the level that you're usually on can only be so big. And
Yeah.
let's say it's a really big environment, but the only thing is everything's like very minimal. There's not a lot of stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
Is that your cat?
Yes, it is. Freaking
Yeah.
scared the crap out of me right now.
Yeah. I was like, is that your cat? Yeah. So,
I'm about to be assassinated.
so 12 teraflops is insanely big amount of things to render in a video game.
Yeah.
With that, you're able to pretty much almost make a realistic room, world, city,
Hmm.
a metropolis city. So that's kind of a big deal. And Xbox is able to get it up to 12 teraflops, which is very close to what PlayStation has for their dev kits.
Hmm.
So that's a good thing. They also have variable rate shading, which is like the shading of like the colors and everything on everything in the environment.
Hmm.
One of the big things that is very important to these new generation consoles is ray tracing. What ray tracing is, when the light hits a specific object, it's
Hmm.
able to render all of those shading of the shadows and lighting effects and everything down to the pixel. So in the past, they were able to do that, but I mean, it would just be spreading all over the place where it doesn't really look as realistic as this ray tracing technology. So it's
Hmm.
able to do that. Both of these systems will be able to do that, which is insanely beautiful. You'll be able to see it if you do a quick YouTube search. It's a very big difference. You don't really notice it as much as playing video games nowadays, but then it's
Hmm.
there. But this time, this is more detailed.
Noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that we've come to a time that we're just happy to have um, you know, decent physics and some destructibility in the environment, to now we're just getting the visuals right, as realistic as possible. If
Mhm.
we're living in a if we're living in a simulation, what the hell's the rate for our simulation for the
Yeah.
environment?
Mhm. All right, so Xbox Series X will also support 8K gaming, as
Hmm.
well as frame rates up to 120 frames per second. So that's pretty high. All right, so with that being said, it looks like Xbox is really trying to put a very powerful console out there to compete against PlayStation. So
Hmm.
recently today, as of today, this morning or something like that, I think GameStop started putting out the information for the PS5, and I think it's kind of a small leak.
Hmm.
So the leak specs says that it's full 8K TV support, which is
Hmm.
what they already announced. But
Hmm.
Xbox is able to get there on that bandwagon. That's good. It also has a bespoke 8-core AMD chipset, which is pretty powerful. Um, 3D audio, and it's got SSD storage. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
soldered in or removable. I'm not 100% sure. If it's
I'm sure
removable,
they'll have.
go ahead.
No, I'm sure they'll just have it expandable. I don't know if they want people messing with the the insides of these systems anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
But the thing with I think they won't solder them in because of the fact that the only time you need to solder something in is if you're trying to make something smaller or you're trying
mm,
to make it purposely where people can't upgrade, like the Apple products.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but other than that, I hopefully it's not soldered in and you're able to upgrade that. Anyways, one very important thing about this PlayStation 5 is that it's backward compatible with PS4 games, and it's also compatible with PSVR hardware. So if you already have
Hmm.
a PSVR, you can use it on this new machine. And of course, already announces ray tracing capabilities, which I talked about in another one. So right now, with these specs from PlayStation, with the chipset, it kind of sounds like they can only do 9.2 teraflops. That's what people are
Okay.
speculating with the specs that people are leaking out right now.
Hmm.
But even though their dev kit was 12 teraflops, this is still kind of early. So we don't know if this
Hmm.
is the final specs. Um, so this is kind of like a very crazy hardware war going on right now. I really thought that, PlayStation already topped it, but it looks like Xbox did some things and was able to get it to 12 teraflops.
Yeah, and this is something we talked about when we first started seeing the specs come out.
Hmm.
Um, how to put it? Do you think? Well, we confirmed it. The hardware storage, about the 500 gigs, 500 gigs, 1 terabyte. That's all just marketing at this point, right? Like like Xbox put that 1 terabyte for just to have a spec that is not comparable to the PS5.
Hmm.
Because I mean, really, these consoles are lasting at least 10 years now. So within what, 2 3 years, we're going to be seeing more cloud storage, and then within 5 6 years, we'll be completely integrated to the cloud storage.
Hmm. That's true.
Um, and then with bandwidth getting with the internet speed getting faster, I don't know. Do we do we really want to invest as much into a game console?
I don't know. I just really hope
Uh,
that this guy does something soon, or else it's gonna collect dust and
oh yeah, I have mine here too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's I think we're getting into an environment where we're just really all playing in the same sandbox, and we're starting to
Yeah.
see that now with the cross-platform play. I like Nintendo's reaction after the whole PS5 and Xbox specs came out. People somebody interviewed somebody from Nintendo and asked them, "Are you concerned with these next generation consoles?" To which Nintendo replied, "No." And
Yeah.
the reasoning is that their research shows that people own more than two consoles.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years, like it's a question about which one they buy first, but within 2 or 3 years, they're going to have at least two consoles. And Nintendo's usually that second console.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Uh, I mean, yeah, it's if you're a hardcore PlayStation fan, you're not going to buy an Xbox right away. I'm going to play a little like Nintendo Switch. If you're a hardcore Xbox fan, you're like, I'm not gonna buy PlayStation. No, I'll buy a little Switch,
Uh, yeah.
which is what I did. I got a little
Mhm.
Switch. We had the conversation. I was debating between getting the PlayStation 4 or a Switch, and I ended up getting a Switch.
Man, you're missing out so much. Yeah.
All right, Anton. Let's see here. Was that the last one? Yes, it was.
Mhm.
All right, Anton, you ready to get into streaming?
Yep. Let's get into streaming.
All right. All right, Anton. So this past week and a half, 2 weeks, I had the chance to check out Lego Masters. It's hosted by Will Arnett and it's available on Hulu. And it's a competition where they bring in teams of Lego enthusiasts,
Hmm.
engineers, and just everyday people to do challenges with Legos. And it is such a fun show, dude. I like it
It
because
sounded the concept sounded really boring, but I did see the trailer. It looks really fun.
you know what? I think the trailer doesn't do it justice because
Hmm.
Will Arnett is very animated
Hmm.
in his a-holeness.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
anybody that has seen Arrested Development will know Job. That's kind of he's not an a-hole, but he's still that loud and arrogant.
His
Um,
voice kind of
yeah,
makes that
yeah.
weird.
Which,
Yeah.
oh my God, dude, I heard an interview with, I can't remember if it was on ID10T or if it was on the Armchair Expert. I think it was Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. Uh, he was on it, and I can't believe he's had so much voiceover work. Like he's been like the voice for Dodge for like the last 10 years.
Hmm. And also,
Like
he was the voice for Batman.
yeah, Batman, like, but like he's had like a lot of like he said like there's like at least a handful of companies where he's just been the go-to voiceover person and nobody knows it's him.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Lego Masters. So they do challenges. I think the first one's very simple. Like they have to build a theme park. Uh, and one
Yeah,
of the
that's very
things where they
simple. Build a theme park.
yeah, and the thing is like it's pretty straightforward. Like you pick a theme, stuff like that. But they require to have at least one working roller coaster in their little park. And I mean, as good as you are with Legos, dude. Uh, so many little pieces,
Yeah.
something's bound to go wrong, and it's very heartbreaking to see people working 12, 14 hours on these projects, and something goes wrong, and
Hey,
it's tough.
hey! At least you don't have to buy the pieces.
That's what made me
Yeah.
jealous, dude. I'm like, oh, dude, like they're building all these cool things, but really, all those pieces probably cost like $500.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
unlimited Legos. What can you
yeah,
build? Dude, I would build a bunch of crazy shit.
yeah. I mean, the second challenge they did was they had to build uh something space
Dude, I
related.
would build a whole entire freaking house.
Exactly, like, I mean Legoland.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they had the second episode was they had to build this like space themed uh structure or thing for the sole purpose that they were going to destroy it. And
Mm.
you get points based on how well it explodes in slow motion. And they randomly got assigned ways of being destroyed. So one was it gets destroyed by Will Arnett with a baseball bat. The second one was it gets dropped from a second floor. second
Mm-hmm.
story floor, or 4 or 3, it gets exploded. And so pretty much like they had people try to build these like big themes, and then the inside was hollow, and the purpose was to try to fill the inside with like as little pieces as possible, so when it explodes, it shows more scattering pieces, and the outside should also shatter. And the winner for that competition did an amazing job. Like when theirs hit the ground, everything just like like Alderaan.
Wow.
It's
Hey,
a fun
that's a
show.
very good example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was a scale model.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun show. I know some of the stuff gets more elaborate. I think Lauren he gave one example that they had to build a bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and he was surprised by how strong some of these bridges were. Like he said, one of them he actually was jumping up and down on, and it would not break.
Wow.
Uh,
It's
so
crazy.
I watched the show expecting to hate it or think it was stupid, and actually loved it, and made me want to like try to find my old Lego sets.
That's the whole
Uh,
purpose of this show is to make people
It,
buy
it
their
worked.
product.
Oh, you know what? And they also have like in between segments too, where they have Lego experts. The ones like the guy that built like Lego City, and then the woman that built the Lego themed toys for girls. Uh, Kind of give like tips about the engineering structure of it. Like, you know, what if they really want to have a strong structure or they want to do this, they need to build it in this way, in this fashion. So they do like kind of analysis on it. So I loved it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll probably have to check that out. It sounds like it's really fun to watch.
It's a
Uh,
nice casual watch.
yeah. So another fun show that I checked out is Lock and Key. So back in 2011, they did have a TV movie. I think they
Mhm.
were thinking about making multiple movies, um, but the first one wasn't that great. So fast forwarding to 2020, they have
Mhm.
a full-on series. And our friend Josias has been telling us about this for quite some time now. That he's excited
Mhm.
for this to come to light. And yeah, I finally got to check it out. It came out, I think, last week as we were recording this episode. And I'm gonna have to say this is probably one of my new favorite shows. I binge watched this show like, yeah, it was a pretty late night.
I I've heard great things. I was talking to my girlfriend. I'm torn between watching Lock and Key or watching that new show on Amazon called Hunters. So Amazon or Netflix? Netflix, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Netflix Hunters. Yeah, I heard very mixed things about it.
Okay.
So I'd
Okay.
say
Okay.
you should watch Lock and Key first.
Okay. I also
Yeah.
heard Lock and Key's dark. Yeah, Lock and Key's a graphic novel that my brother loved years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
then he kind of stopped reading it when he got married.
Yeah.
Like
So
when he moved out and had his own place, he kind of had at least some of his comic book behind because he knew he was gonna have space,
how
which
big is
I
this
have.
place? Yeah.
It's a two
How big is
bedroom
this
apartment, but
place? Oh, two
two
bed
bed
apartment. Okay.
two bedroom apartment. But I mean, I still have them, so I can probably browse through the Lock and Key graphic novels now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought he got a condo.
No, no, no. It's
Oh,
apartment. He's still
okay.
renting. Yeah.
Okay. Does
Side
he?
conversation.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying.
All right, so yeah, Lock and Key, dude. I freaking love this series. I can't wait until the next season. I think the way that they interpret each character and the cast is great. I really think the cast is really great, except for the mom. The mom is kind of like Winona Ryder in Stranger Things for season one.
Uh,
Like, you know how like the mom's like sometimes overreacting, or either
mhm.
that like people will watch the show and be like, man, that mom is so dumb, like those moments.
Yeah.
But
I actually haven't seen the cast for this. So I'm kind of curious to see how the kids are.
yeah, I like that they're unknown actors.
Okay,
Yeah, they've been around on different shows, but they've been more of like those smaller ones. So
got it.
yeah, seeing this, dude, I freaking love it. I'm excited to see how many more different keys there are. Did you read the
Mm.
graphic novel too?
No, I didn't. I never got into it. So
Okay,
I
so
have them. I haven't cracked
yeah,
them
so
open.
just a quick summary for people who are listening. This is a show about these kids who move into their family's old mansion. It's not really a mansion, it's more like a home.
And it's
Uh,
estate.
yeah, estate. So on this property, it's in Massachusetts by the water. They're on like basically a cliff. And yeah, so these kids go into the house not knowing anything about the history of the place. They're trying to explore, and the youngest one keeps finding different keys, and each key does something different. And they basically kind of go on an adventure for each key. Like, for example, one of the keys is the head key. So what it is you would use that key to open up your mind, and you can go inside, you can see all the memories, everything's organized in a certain way just depending on the person,
The
and you can,
Mind Stone.
yeah, kind of like that. So it's kind of very interesting to go in and see things, remember things. So basically it's kind of like hacking your head. Another
Mhm.
key is a really cool key, which is a key that opens to any other door. So if you think of a door that you've seen before, you open it up, you're on that other side. So
Monsters Inc.
yeah, so it's basically Monster Sinks. Um, yeah, so that's the cool thing about this show is there are almost infinite keys, which there isn't infinite keys. It just feels like the ideas can keep growing from this idea. Um,
Un Unless you find the infinite key.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, yeah, one thing that I didn't know for the longest time, I wasn't really like deeply on the rabbit hole trying to figure out what
Hmm.
this was all about. Uh, so this series is created by Joe Hill, uh, which our friend has been, telling us that this guy is not any ordinary guy. Um,
Hmm.
well, he himself doesn't want to be ordinary, like
Recognized.
recognized. So his
Yeah.
name is Joe Hill, as
Hmm.
people know.
Pen name.
Yeah, but that's just his pen name. His full name is Joe Hill King,
Hmm.
the son of Stephen King,
Hmm.
which wrote many, many amazing novels.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think the whole family, the King family, the whole entire family writes. They're all authors, and I think they're really great writers. And I think this is
Yeah.
really good. Good
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. They're working on a project together now. I forgot what it was.
I think it
Um.
came out recently, right? That one about
Oh,
hacking
it in the tall grass.
in the tall grass is what they're working on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the project they're working on together. But yeah, I mean, he really just didn't. He wanted to be, recognized for his work, not just because of who his dad was. So he didn't want to be known as Stephen King's son
Mm-hmm.
in the literary world. So I mean, this just shows that it worked. I mean, Lock and Key was a success. It was a popular graphic novel,
Mm-hmm.
as well as his other writings and projects. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right,
that's
Anton.
pretty much it for Lock and Key for me.
Cool, cool, cool. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna ditch one of my topics for streaming, and since we're running long, which one would you pick next?
Okay, I'm just gonna go real quick with Good Doctor. Um,
Okay.
okay, so they finally got back on their winter break,
Hmm.
and dude, this show has shown so much emotion. For the last couple of episodes, I think it's starting to get more into like the story where, do you accept a person who is autistic, and
Yes.
how would you like how bad can it get, and how can you really get into that nitty gritty? Is this messed up for television, or is it not? So we're getting to that part.
Oh, like they're trying to push comfort levels.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, and another thing is, I think what's the main actor's name? I forgot. Um,
I know. I had it too, but
Freddie
yeah,
Highmore.
from
Yeah. So
yeah,
Freddie
Bates
Highmore.
Motel.
Yeah, Bates. Yeah. So when you first watched the series, I thought he was an okay actor. I mean, he's there, but not fully there. But
Hmm.
watching it recently, like, dude, he's like full on into this character. Like, he's really acting way beyond what you would expect for
Hmm.
a actor that's in this long series. But anyways, I'm still excited to see more of this series. It's still going on. Season's not over yet, but yeah, kind of excited to see what's next. Yep.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, Anton. I'm gonna shelve that one. And I know one of the other topics we want to talk about was the Chef Show Part 3.
Hmm.
But we'll say that for next episode after I get
Okay.
to catch up with it too.
Okay. Sounds good.
All
Dude,
right,
I
so you
just
want to
want to
get to
go
movies?
eat at some of the places that they talked about in this part three. So yeah.
That is one reason why I resisted watching it because I was giving up meat. So I
Oh
was like, I know they're
yeah. Oh
gonna show
man.
some bomb barbecuing or cooking here. So
Yeah. It makes me
all
want to
right,
go to Vegas. Yeah.
good teaser, good
Yeah.
teaser.
Hmm.
All right, Anton, let's get into movies.
Okay. Movie time.
All right, so the weekend of February 21st to the 23rd. Number one, we have Sonic the Hedgehog with Hog with 26.1 million. Number two, The Call of the Wild with 24.7 million. Birds of Prey, number three, with 6.8 million. Number four, Bad Boys for Life, 5.8 million. And number five, Bram's The Boy 2 with 5.8 million also. Um, Damn, dude, I did not think Harley Quinn was gonna get knocked out that quickly.
Yeah, I mean it has mixed reviews. It wasn't the movie that a lot of people were like, "Hey, you have to go see this movie." So I think that's probably why.
It was interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then Call of the Wild kind of snuck up on me. This is the one with Harrison Ford, based on the novel that a lot of high school students read.
Hmm.
Signed reading for some schools or some
Hmm.
classes.
I,
Uh,
I thought the whole animation of the dogs and stuff were kind of fake. Looking from the
yeah,
trailers, it's like, I don't know.
yeah, and I mean, yay to Harrison Ford. Sucks that he's not gonna do Indiana Jones, but I don't know. I really don't know what audience this is going for. Is it just going
Wait,
for
wait, wait,
like,
wait, wait. What?
oh, Harrison Ford does not want to do Indiana Jones,
What are
and
you
then
talking about?
and then and then what's his name? Steven Spielberg is also walking away.
Oh, is that what they said recently?
Steven Spielberg has confirmed that he's no longer going to direct Indiana Jones or any future ones. He said it's because he wants to step away and allow other directors to have a go at the franchise.
Hmm.
Harrison Ford has said there is no Indiana Jones without me. There won't be another Indiana Jones after me. So considering Harrison Ford's what, 70, 80,
Hmm.
can he really pull another Indiana Jones movie?
I don't know. Uh, well, I mean, they already had a script, but I guess it didn't work out. Um,
Didn't work out, and I think the
mhm.
fact that the guy that brought it to life is saying, "I'm good. I'm gonna walk from this one. You guys
Mm.
want to direct this one? You can have it. I'm not gonna touch this."
But yeah, I think James Mangold is probably going to replace him and direct it. So
Yeah. I love Indiana Jones. Crystal Skull was weird.
Yeah.
cinematically and story wise, but it's still like Indiana Jones, man.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how it's gonna be like when and Crystal Skull and Harrison Ford was already moving slow to begin with during the action scenes.
Oh yeah.
Like he got hit and fell, and you legit thought he broke a bone.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways,
he's a little troubling there when he's standing up and stuff. So, yeah.
anyways, so this 2 days ago on Tuesday, I went to go watch Sonic with my girlfriend. Uh, for those who don't know, after discovering a small blue fast hedgehog, a small town police officer must help it defeat an evil genius who wants to do experiments on it. This is based on the Sega game by the same name, Sonic the Hedgehog. Uh, dude, how to put it? If we thought Detective Pikachu broke the video game curse, this for sure broke the video game curse.
Is
It
that good?
was it's I liked it better than Detective Pikachu, and you know
Oh
how much I'm a
wow.
Pokemon fan.
Uh-huh.
Uh, First of all, Ben Schwartz, from Parks and Rec, who does the voice of Sonic, his sarcasm, his tone, he nails it, dude. Like he is Sonic. James Marsden, best known for playing Cyclops in X-Men, plays Tom Makowski, who's the cop. Uh, I really didn't know him as an actor and how, other than him being Cyclops and a few other like small random roles I've seen him in, but a he has some great comedy timing. His facial reactions, he sells it. So him and Ben Schwartz are a good buddy combination in this. And then to top it off, Jim Carrey, and for some goddamn reason you guys don't know who that is, The Truman Show, The Mask, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, pretty much anything, plays Dr. Robotnik. This is the Jim Carrey we grew up with, dude. This is the
Okay.
fun, physical comedy Jim Carrey, not going too dramatic, not going too over like pushing or being artistic. This is him being fun. Think Ace Ventura level physical comedy with some Truman Show sarcasm.
Yeah, so I like the old Jim Carrey where he's funny, but like it's for that specific scene. Like it's meant to be funny for that. Like I know there's a lot of movies out there that he's been in later on where he's like over the top and it felt like
Uh,
forced, you know? Like
uh,
he's just trying to do it because he feels like that's the moment to do it, but this is more like scripted and it feels like it's meant to be like that.
yeah, like the
Hmm.
movie Kick-Ass 2. I didn't know that was freaking Jim Carrey.
Oh
He
yeah,
played
yeah,
the
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like I'm like, he looks so familiar, but I didn't recognize him.
Hmm.
No, dude, this one it was fun. I mean, there's a scene where he's in his lab, and it's a good solid 5 minutes of him just kind of being like a orchestra leader, just going with the flow of the music as he works. He's like swiveling back and forth between his chair and looking at different monitors, and then at some point he gets into the music and he starts like gets up and starts dancing, and then he has this projector showing different backgrounds that he
Hmm.
plays around with, and he gets into it, dude. And one thing this movie does is that it sneaks in a lot of adult jokes, but not bad enough to where like kids will kind of question it. It's
Hmm.
legitimate parents going, "Wait, did he just say that?" Um, there's a line. Well, first off, in that scene where he's dancing, he does a little like he grabs the pole and does a little dip, like a little stripper move.
Hmm.
Kids will not know what that is.
No.
That's just him dancing. There's another part where he's yelling at a military guy, uh, telling him that all he's good. What you call it? Well, how do you phrase it? It's saying people saying like, oh, like you're a sack of crap, pretty much kind of thing, and then finishes by saying he deploys his drones, and he goes, "This is what comes out of my sack," and I'm like, did he just make a sperm joke? Uh, it's if you don't want to watch it for Ben Schwartz and James Marsden having fun doing a buddy comedy, watch it for freaking Jim Carrey, dude. It's nice to see him back to the type of comedy we know him and grew up with. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
There was no lull in this movie that I can think of. I would really give this movie 4.75. This is a easy A minus.
Wow.
Yeah,
4.75 is pretty high.
it's A minus, dude.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of James Marsden. I really think that there needs to be a breakout role for him in a serious movie because I think he's such a great actor. But he keeps going for these roles where he's either doing like a comedy or a kids movie.
Mhm.
But like for example, like he's in Westworld, and when I first saw him in Westworld, I'm like, yes, like maybe he's getting a redemption for not being in such big movies where he's the main character, and he keeps getting killed throughout the
Mm.
whole entire show over and over and over again. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of excited to see him in a good movie,
Hmm.
but I just want more from this guy.
I want to hear your take on this one. Well, and I misspoke. So I actually I'll bring this down to 4.5. I said A minus, and 4.75 would bring it to a mid level A. So
Okay. All right.
4.5. So A
Okay.
minus on that one. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. The only real like weak points for me were some forced story elements.
Hmm.
But then again, there's no real story to Sonic other than he's a hedgehog and he lives on an island where he spins around and destroys things and collects coins and rings. Um, it's I mean like, that's the thing. Like I had to kind of keep in mind. I'm all like, is that what that's for? Oh, okay. I'll put it this way: the rings that he collects and he keeps a sack of, they're teleporters.
Yeah, makes sense. It's in the game. That's
It's
how
in the
you
game.
teleport. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's you teleport to the pinball world and stuff.
Oh, maybe the later games, but not the
Yeah.
Sega. It's not the Sega one I remember.
No,
But yeah,
no, like you need to play like the newer versions like as it
yeah,
goes on progresses.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's fun, dude, and I'm happy that they redesigned Sonic because if they didn't redesign him, that would be the major
Drawback.
down point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
drawback of the movie. So I think Sony, not Sony, was it Sony? Yeah, Sony. Sony knew what they had, and they said people are gonna love it. Let's just redesign it so we can actually have success here.
Yeah, that was the original design though before the
Yeah, that
stupid
later came out.
Fallout. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was released. This was the design we saw was a revision based on what some executive gave feedback on.
Yeah.
And then the reason they got the redesign so quickly back was because they already had the original design for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Check it out. Let me know what you think, and either text me or we'll talk about it next episode.
Yeah. I do have something that I want to ask you, but I'll ask you after the show because it's a spoiler for Sonic, and I don't want to talk about it right now.
There is an after credit scene.
No, we'll talk about it later. But
Okay.
anyways, that's
All right,
pretty much
Anton.
it, right?
Yes. If people want to continue making us a success, how can they do that, Anton?
They can do that by going to our website at www.the2oc.com. Go to our store, buy a t-shirt, buy a hat that you're wearing right now, and maybe some stickers. And if there was something that we talked about on the show or on our Instagram or anywhere on our social media, any of the links takes them to Amazon, and it
Hmm.
gives us a little kickback.
Yep, yep. And you can also follow us on social media at the 2LC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I probably said that about 3 times during the show. Or you can send us an email at mail@the2LC.com. Quick shout out to Josiah and the Comic Syndicate. Thank you for shouting us out in a recent episode. Appreciate that. Always appreciate a good shout out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Also,
Yeah.
uh, this episode is also sponsored by Audible. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/the2OC. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you use it on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player if you have one of those. So this week I would be recommending Stephen King's The Institute. It is one of his most recent books that was released, and it's about hacking. That's all I'm going to say. It gets very interesting. And yeah, it's kind of different for Stephen King. So hope you like it.
I'll throw in a quick recommendation. Something a little bit throwback here, but World War Z. I was recently talking to my girlfriend about it. I told her how much I love the book. She said she felt kind of okay about the movie, and I'm like, no. The book is totally different. The book is a collection of stories from the outbreak after it's contained. It's not an action hero. Brad Pitt is not supposed to be an action hero. So it's an awesome listen. You're kind of hearing interviews, and it's an amazing cast that does the voices. You got Alan Alda, John Turturro, Rob Reiner. You know, Max Brook called in a lot of favors from his friends to voice this audiobook. So World War Z.
Okay.
All right, Anton. All right. Is that it?
Yep, that's it. Let's wrap it up.
All right. For the 2OC, I'm Al Flores.
And I'm Anton Dual.
See you guys.
Later.